And last video we're going to be doing for React Andy tonight is going to be from Mintskull, which is somebody who used to watch a lot. We haven't watched one of their videos in a really long time, but Mintskull is kind enough to know of our presence and always be wonderful and kind to us. So now more than ever, please hit that link that just showed up in the Twitch chat. If you're on the YouTube, it'll be in the description down below to support the official release of the video, because we support the homie Mintskull. This video is talking about 6 killers that are best for beginners. Characters that come to my mind, I'm not going to cheat and look ahead. Demogorgon is probably, like, I would say the starter killer, which is great because, you know, Stranger Things back. So now you can get him. I definitely recommend Demo as like the kind of like pan-ultimate starter killer. Has a power that helps you circumvent chases. Has map mobility, but you have to set it up, so it's not for free. You can still play a lot as an M1 killer. So Wraith, I feel like Wraith, yeah, Wraith is, yes, I think, I don't know, Wraith, yes, but for me, Wraith has such a firm skill ceiling that's fairly low that I would want someone to have something like Demogorgon that, like, as they get better, they can express themselves more, as opposed to like Wraith, where they're gonna hit a hard ceiling and get kind of annoyed. Nemesis, you're cheating. It was on, that was on the thumbnail. You know that's in here.
These are the 6 best killers to play as a beginner. Out of all the starters killers you get for free when you get the game, the Wraith is by far the easiest one out of all of them. And I would say he's the killer with the lowest skill ceiling and skill floor so far.
I know, it's like I know.
With the Wraith, you will be able to become invisible and move at a very fast speed, allowing you to catch survivors off guard and patrol generators easily, which is a skill you will need to...
Yeah, because this is the thing, is like, yeah, Wraith is a really good starting killer, but like, you will find yourself at a certain point like departing from Wraith, because you're like, wow, I can only be so good at this killer. So I don't know, I'd rather give them somebody like Nemesis or like Demo, where like, as you get better at the game, you can keep climbing and getting better instead of just going, man, I feel like I need to play somebody else, you know?
To learn as a starter. Not only that, new players are not that good at moving their camera and having awareness, so as Wraith, you will be able to catch survivors off guard more easily. Just make sure not to get stunned while you're invisible, as you will be stunned for way longer. The Wraith comes with a very diverse set of add-ons, and the vast majority of them are simple to understand, and they buff your power the same,
and most of them are
so you can get used to Wraith more easily. He offers a lot of flexibility regarding perks and builds, as you can go with an ambush build, a pure chase build, a gen slowdown build, whatever you desire, and your add-ons will complement you. Sadly, the Wraith's perks are not that good, and I would say they are the worst ones in this video by far. So you will need to eventually start using another killer. If you are a console player, you are in luck, as you will have the Doctor unlocked by default, and he's one of the best picks for starters.
I feel like his power is very frustrating, because like it's so like, maybe I've just had a bad experience, but it's so based on latency, right? Like even if you're using discipline, sometimes you shock people and they still just vault over stuff. Like, I guess it's fine in the sense that it's simple. I use Big Blast to find... yeah, that is true. That is true, because, like, the Static Blast does start teaching you macro play of, like, where survivors like to be and spawn. And give you, like, a visual indicator on the screen of where people like to be at given points during the match. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The Doctor's power is divided in 2 parts, with one power allowing you to find survivors with the press of a button, and the other power will help you with your chases.
I think the anti-chase one
is the
to be
best
frustrating and annoying for new players, but yeah, the static blast,
which can be especially useful against beginner players, as one of the problems many new killers have is that they cannot find survivors in order to start a chase, or they feel lost and don't know what to do, especially because new survivors tend to hide around the map more instead of taking aggressive chases. Well, the moment you start the match, all you have to do is move around a little bit from spawn and start charging your static blast, and you will make survivors scream in no time. His second power is easy to understand, but mechanically it can be hard.
Yeah, it's very difficult mechanically, and it's also like
any survivors hit by the electricity will not be able to throw pallets or jump windows for a moment. So if you time it right, you can prevent survivors from interacting with the environment.
That's funny.
This electric attack will also interrupt any actions the survivors were doing. This is the hardest power to master for beginners, and I would recommend not spamming your power a lot, as you slow yourself down. Another problem a lot of new players have at the start is that they lack perks that help them with slowing the game down. Well, the Doctor comes with the Madness status effect, which will increase with each electric attack survivors receive. So survivors will have to remove the madness first before they can heal or repair generators. The Doctor's add-ons are also really good, and while at first it can seem daunting to learn all effects of the add-ons, in reality it's pretty easy. You can start by using the Brown add-ons first, and experiment with them along the way. Doctor's perks are also not that great, but Overcharge can be a nasty perk to run against survivors that don't expect
the double calm
it. If you have
giant
enough
Iridius
iridescent shards saved up, and you're thinking of buying an easy killer that also comes with great perks, I think there is no better option than the Clown. His power is extremely simple to understand. Throw gas bottles to slow down survivors that inhale the gas.
I would almost worry that like Clown would give you like a bad impression of how the game is played. Because you just throw a bottle and like pallets get thrown and you just like get like easier hits while also losing the game in the background if you don't have good macro sense. I would almost argue not Clown for that reason, because it gives, like I said, it just gives you a bad impression about how the game actually goes. You just throw a purple bottle, you eventually get the pallet or the hit. But unless you're like good with macro sense or good with using your yellow bottles, you're not going to be like performing well consistently.
Use your secondary yellow bottles to speed anyone that inhales the gas up. You can also reload freely at any point you want. However, what is interesting about the Clown is that despite him being so easy to understand, he actually can be a very complex character to play once you start mastering the yellow bottles. I mean, there is a Clown guide that is over 130 pages long. This means that if you are a starter, you can get easy wins with the Clown, and later when you become...
but I would argue that like easy wins aren't helpful and intuitive for learning. Like, yeah, I would argue easy wins make a character not that good for a beginner killer, because you don't learn how to play the game normally.
Better at the game and you learn the micro and macro components of it, you can feel your Clown gameplay evolving. The Clown's add-ons are very simple to understand, as the vast majority of them are upgrades to your gas bottles, reload time, or they add extra effects to the gas. But the star of the show are definitely the perks. Pop Goes the Whistle is one of the best regression perks in the entire game. You can use this on any killer you want. It will help you slow generators down for each hook you get, rewarding you for playing aggressively. Bamboozle is another fantastic perk that is extremely helpful for simple chase killers, and I honestly would recommend you use Bamboozle for every killer that appears on this video, because it's that good. Another very good and fun choice for a lot of players is the Legion, one of the most straightforward characters. Their power is to sprint, vault windows and pallets, and stab survivors. And once you stab your first survivor, you will give them deep wounds and you will see the location.
I mean, Legion kind of has that similar aspect that Doctor does, where like, you know, just with the killer instinct after you hit your first person in frenzy, it kind of gives you that kind of teaches you that macro knowledge of where people like to be at certain parts of the map or certain parts of the match, which is that macro game knowledge, which is kind of like hard to visualize in your head for a lot of people. So I guess that is a good point.
Of the rest. If you get a 5-hit combo, you will instantly down the last survivor.
Yeah, low rarity.
Deep Wound serves as a type of slowdown, as survivors will have to mend themselves in order to repair generators.
Because like, if you think about it, like, I know this sounds kind of like funny, but like this kind of goes on in my head. Like obviously I don't know exactly where they are, but like when I'm playing any killer, like let's take Xenomorph for example, obviously, which does not have any like static blast or killer instinct, like, you know, kind of ability, right? Like I would generally think that like, okay, well, we're on Eyrie of Crows and generally that main building's pretty safe, so there's probably somebody in main building, which would be like kind of like the killer instinct right there in my head. And also
survivors will have to mend themselves like I'm thinking about this in my head. Generators. Also, the biggest counter for the Legion is survivors like, splitting up and not healing. Two things that beginners and novices
having powers
do
that visualize
that, as they are scared of staying injured and will want to heal before they repair anything, which automatically means survivors being
and you can't besides the 5th hit down, you can't down them. You can't down them with your power. So you do have to learn how to. That's a good point. Maybe Legion is a really good beginner. This is one that I didn't really think of. Maybe, you know, the more we think about it, it'll actually make sense. Hey KJ, it's good to see you, friend. Hopefully you're doing well. Congrats on the new job, friend. That's good. I'm very, very proud of you. What'd you end up getting? And a new car? Okay, stop hacking life. Well, if you're gonna do it, can you let me in on it? That'd be great.
You might see a lot of success with the Legion at the start, but remember that you cannot down survivors with your power by stabbing them without a 5-hit combo.
Pick, actually.
You need to down them by hitting them with a basic attack. This means that you will have to learn the fundamentals of a chase in order to get results, and this is a great thing as chasing is one of the most important parts of Dead by Daylight. Add-on wise, the Legion comes with a very good and diverse set of add-ons. Some of them even change the chase music. A good thing about them is that Bran add-ons are some of the best they have, and they are cheap, meaning you can get them more easily compared to the rest. The Legion's perks are also great, as Discordance will reveal the location of a generator as long as 2 survivors are working on it, which basically means you know where 50% of the team is just with one perk. Mad Grip can be very useful against body blockers, and the Iron Maiden can be really great for new players that tend to hide in lockers a lot, as it will make survivors scream once they exit a locker. By far the most controversial character and my personal choice as a really good character for beginners is the Pig. And it's not because of the perks nor the add-ons or even the power. It's because for me, the Pig is the best killer to learn chases with. Her power can be very complex in theory, but it's pretty simple in practice. You can
this is why I recommended Demo. Demo's the same way.
And make yourself slower but undetectable. You can have an ambush attack while you're crouched, and honestly, you can ignore this aspect of her power when you start. What is great is her reverse bear traps. The Pig can place these traps on the head of survivors that she downs, and they will have to run around the map in order to get a key to remove the trap, or else they die. Since the Pig is fundamentally a basic attack killer, this means you are playing the closest thing to a base killer there is in the game, as you need to become good in order to get survivors, and you get rewarded by slowing the game down with your power. For that reason, I believe that anyone who plays with the Pig will become overall better at the game with the rest of the characters, since you will learn the fundamentals faster as you are
It's like when I see one of my students doing
Now let me warn you that the Pig is considered as one of the weakest killers in Dead by Daylight, so if you expect a killer that is super strong, there are better options. Her perks are also very mediocre and don't stand out, and her add-ons can be interesting and fun to use. Think of her as a set of training wheels that will make you significantly stronger when you use any other average speed character. And finally, in my personal opinion, the best licensed character you can get that is also balanced is the Nemesis. His power is very easy to understand.
I feel like his power with like the M2, it's gonna frustrate a lot of new players, especially when it comes to like, you know, understanding like the linger, the click drag, and like okay, I hit them with the tentacle, why aren't they injured, you know, like yes, but I feel like they're not a good beginner character. I feel like they're good like I played Myers for a while and I'm bored, or I played Wraith for a while and I'm bored, and then I would pick Nemesis. But I feel like a lot of things for a new player, they'd be like, wait, they're infected but they're not injured. You know, wait, I can break pallets? What's causing that? Like, there's a lot. Like, Nemesis is a complex killer, not aggressively so one, nothing like Billy or anything. But compared to like an M1 killer, he's got a lot going on. So that might be overwhelming for a new player, actually.
However, he's the only killer out of this video that has a power attack that requires some skill, as it works in a different way compared to the basic attacks. Nemesis comes with a whip attack that can infect survivors, increasing your mutation level. For each level, you become stronger, and on level 2 you can break pallets with your tentacle whip, making him one of the best pallet breakers in the game. You also come with 2 zombie companions that will passively slow the game down by chasing and scaring survivors of gens, and they can also infect, hurt, or down survivors once they catch them. Nemesis add-ons are some of the worst in the game, which for the purpose of this video is a good thing, as it means it's easier to learn his base power and get used to it without having to depend on add-ons to be good. But the best part about Nemesis is his perk Lethal Pursuer, which is one of the best licensed perks in the entire game, as it will reveal the location of all survivor auras at the start of the match. This is especially great for beginners, as it will point you to where you have to go at the start, so you can have a very fast early game, and you will also passively learn the spawn logics of Dead by Daylight, which will eventually help you learn the maps better. These are my picks for the best killers for beginners. Let me know if you have any.
Okay, so like, especially when it comes to like Nemesis, right? Especially when it comes to Nemesis. I feel like after you play somebody who's actually like a true beginner killer, like Legion or like Wraith, and you're like, okay, I'm looking to like up my game. I think I'm ready to play some M2 killers. They're not too complicated. I'm still fairly new at the game, but I want to start getting like better. I want to start like, you know, actually playing a little bit more of complicated killer. And then I'd be like, Nemesis, next step. I don't think I would recommend Nemesis right away. I'm surprised Demo's not on here. I'm very shocked that Demo's not on here. Yeah, because like for a lot of some of the reasons that we were talking about with Pig, is like, yeah, you can just run around and M1 people, but you could be ending chase a lot quicker with your M2, either by shredding or, you know, breaking pallets with the shred. And also, you could be getting better at macro game by putting in portals and teleporting around, start learning map pressure. Like, I don't know. I think Demo would probably be my. I think Demo would probably be my number one. I don't know. Is there any on here that you? Like, yeah, they kind of said all the ones that you guys said. I'm just. I would have said Demo, especially now that you can just buy Demo again, just like any other old chapter. I would definitely go for Demo here. That would be my personal recommendation.